Hey everybody, welcome back to another unboxing video here. I'm your host today, Josh Lupresto, SVP of Sales Engineering at Telarus, joined in the studio by Mr. Ken Westermann, North American leader for the Center of Excellence for Zoom. Welcome in, man.
Hey Josh, thank you. Glad to be here.
Dude, we got a lot of stuff on the agenda. We got screens, we got demos, we got a lot of unpacking, a lot of virtual unboxing here. So before we kick this off, just give us a little bit of history for anybody that doesn't know you, kind of your story, and then really lay the land here for what we're going to see and who is Zoom.
Yeah, perfect. So again, my name is Ken Westermann. I'm the North America leader for our Center of Excellence at Zoom. Been with Zoom for a little over 5 years. Prior to that, I spent about 13 and a half years at a competitor, back when the space was very young and very small. So super glad to be here. Today we're going to talk a little bit about what Zoom has done. Most people know Zoom still as this ubiquitous for meetings, but we have 24 plus commissionable products on top of our AI, and that's really what we want to try to unbox today as our AI for you guys. So we're going to try to show you a little bit about the wheel, talk about what our AI has done, where it's kind of come from and where it's going, show a quick little demo for you of a day in the life of a contact center agent, and then talk a little bit about some of the future things we've launched actually this week and soon to come, and go from there.
All right, maybe just kick us off then. Who is the perfect customer for Zoom?
Wow, marketing would tell me I'm supposed to say everyone's perfect customer for Zoom, but really that is the truth, right? I think if you're looking at how are you trying to communicate with your customer base, Zoom really fits into all of those plays, all of the little niches, but also all of the bigger plays, right? There are a couple of big platform players that are out there, but I think Zoom is slowly encroaching upon those platform players, right? And those being, Microsoft, Google, and even Apple. And I think we're kind of encroaching upon those. And so for us, it's really about, if you want that best of breed communication externally for those customers, then that's where Zoom really fits in. And that's, I think, where kind of our wheel starts to show off where and how we fit into that marketplace.
So I guess walk us through a little bit of this. There's a lot here, right? I mean, what I want partners to walk away with this is a big ecosystem, right? And it's wedge products that you could never imagine. So, right, you might think of, okay, does my customer need voice or does my customer need contact center? I mean, this is, yeah, we do that. And like 19 other really important things. So maybe just walk us through the vision and kind of what this is all about.
Sure. You mean, if you think about it again, right? Zoom meetings was our bread and butter, and it's still definitely a big part of our platform. But we've tried to chunk this up into a couple of logical places. So we have our communication side, which are things that your employee would use every single day, right? Meeting, mail and calendar, scheduler, meetings, chat, and phone. We have our productivity piece. So a little bit different type of people. Maybe it's marketing people. Maybe it's someone different from our whiteboards, docs, notes, clips. We have an HR tool called WorkVivo, which is a phenomenal tool for employee engagement. And then we have our spaces, right? People are coming back into the office. So you want to make sure they have that best of breed experience, whether they're sitting at home or they're coming into the office. So things like workspace reservation, visitor management, digital signage, and then rooms. Kind of wrapping around, that's our ecosystem of things. We have a massive marketplace with thousands of applications that are there today to help embed into either Zoom or have Zoom embedded into you. And then we have our business services side. So as we kind of leave the office and go externally to talking to your customers, we have, again, that marketing space for events, sessions, and webinars. We have our sales portion for Revenue Accelerator. And then we have this customer care, customer experience portion, which we're going to talk and show today, which is really that virtual agent, contact center, workforce management, quality management. And that's really become the focus for a lot of our TAs that are out there, but also for Zoom, right? We understand that meetings and phone are incredibly important, but as the world keeps churning, especially with AI, CX becomes a really big central part of how you're going to talk to your customers and how they're going to talk back to you.
Can we talk for a second? We get asked, we kind of gauge things from an engineering perspective of when are we getting asked about this? How frequent are we hearing about this? What type of people want to talk about this from a discovery call perspective? Can we just stop on the digital signage thing for just a second? Can you walk people through? I don't think a lot of people know what's there, what's optional. I don't think people know that that's even available as a product. But maybe just talk for a second about that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, digital signage is really cool, right? I mean, no offense to your office here today, but I walked in and there's a note on a sticky pad that says, "I'm working at home today, please call me if you need something." That's good, But if you're walking into an office and you're trying to direct people somewhere, well, that's a great way to do it, right? Digital signage could be something as simple as when I walk into our Zoom office in Denver, it says, welcome to Zoom, head to the second floor to check in. That's where I go. And when I get to the second floor, it could say, hey, welcome Ken, or welcome, Josh and Talaris. We're here to have an event. We use it in our offices. We cater in food every lunch day. So what's the lunch menu for the day? You see that kind of flip through things. It's also used for things like emergency services. Say there's an event, there's a fire or whatever happens to be, you actually can leverage it to say, hey, there's a fire, get out, and here's the best path out. Or I reserve a workspace reservation for the day. I want to know where to go and get to. You can actually have those digital signages show you where you're at in the building, how to get to your desk. They can be used in so many ways, but they're great because if I only come in once a week, I may not remember certain things in my office. I only go to Denver once a quarter. I don't remember things, right? So that actually helps me understand where I'm going and how to get there. But it can be used for so many things. And that's also a free service with our spaces. So you're buying one spaces license or one rooms license, that's part of the application itself.
So maybe walk us through a little bit next of AI, the employee experience. I mean, let's go to a demo and see some of those here in a minute as you kind of explain this first.
Sure. Look, the evolution of AI, AI has been around for quite a long time, right? 30, 40 years. But for Zoom, we've been thinking about AI for a long time, right? We started doing AI in this meeting summary for customers a couple of years ago. And that's moved from helping you enhance your capabilities to really helping you get more done. And then we started taking that information and prioritizing what matters most to you, turning those meeting notes into actions, into summaries, into additional things that can now start to drive how you're reacting with your customers and internally with, say, your CRM system or whatever you're using. And then we recently launched our Zoom Agentic AI, which is now taking actions on your behalf. We're now executing and doing things for you so that you, that incredibly valuable resource, don't have to spend as much time taking notes or creating tasks or scheduling things. It can all be done on your behalf simply from having it listen to your meeting or your phone call or reading your email and taking those actionable steps.
So I'm still excited about just the first couple times I saw AI Companion and go, oh my gosh, like it's one of those things that you didn't know you needed, and then you see it and you go, how have I been summarizing my meetings, or how have I been doing this before? I mean, it's dramatically more effective. So I'm excited about that, right? And if anybody hasn't seen that, you got to use that. You got to get a demo. You got to check it out. You got to try it. And I think that will give you context into, let's see how my customer, my prospect is doing some of these things now. Help us understand a little bit about how do you want the advisors out there to understand having that conversation or positioning that? You alluded to a little bit of some of the workflows, but maybe walk us through.
Sure. As I think about what's happening, right? Like AI helps you focus on what matters, right? And I think that is one of the most important things. It's about being able to think about, all right, if you and I are in a meeting and you say to me, hey, Ken, let's schedule a meeting for next week, Tuesday. Well, I have to write that down and do something. Well, Agentic AI with Zoom can actually go out and look at my calendar, send you a link for your calendar, or just simply send you an invite for next week, Tuesday at 2:00 to schedule that meeting for us. So it's taking those steps and those actions to really help drive what that looks like. It can help prioritize emails in my inbox. It might know what spam is versus non-spam, or my text messages. I love making fun of my poor mom, but when she'll send me a text, it'll be this speech text. I don't need to know her whole life. I just need to know she needs me to go reset her internet for her.
Again.
Well, that's fine. Again, it's correct. It probably has to go once a month, it seems. But which is fine, but that actually will extract that task out for me and say, Ken, just go do this. Listen for the rest. So it's really getting better to boost your productivity, up-level your team, increase your revenue, reduce your churn. The employees in a contact center cost a lot of money to recruit, to train, and to keep. If I can help them bridge some of those meaningless tasks that they have to take notes on and put, and drop into a CRM, that's great. And if then through that, I can also then help them understand, okay, here's your next call coming in, here's the preview, here's what needs to happen, here's what it's going to look like. Those are all really important things, start to drive where that communication goes and really drive where your resources are being used best.
So I love this, and there's a lot of talk about, agentic and kind of we're starting to see what each agent and how it will all kind of come together. If you're for the advisors, out there listening, what's the best way? I mean, everybody needs this. We're just going to tell them that right now. Just let them know. But what's the best way for the advisors to kind of understand how their customers are doing things now to uncover how this could dramatically change things for them?
I mean, I think, when I talk to advisors today, it really, to me, is about trying to help them understand how they can ask their customers about that productivity. Everyone says, well, it's good enough today. Well, good enough is fine 2 days ago or 2 years ago, but where AI is going today and where customers are going, they're getting younger. My mom is not the typical customer anymore. My niece, who's 23, is. And that generation is coming forth. That generation uses their smartphone. They don't want to call unless they're asking you for money. They want to text you or get online and chat you up. And so that's important because that customer base is slowly moving. So when I talk to TAs, it's about, what do your customers do today? How are they interacting with their customer base? How are they talking to them? How are they resolving problems? And could they do it in a better way? Could they see themselves saving money or creating opportunity through AI that they don't see today? And that's really what the talk track is for me. Look, I'm at Zoom. I love Zoom, but it's not always about Zoom. It is about AI in general, right? Zoom hopefully is part of that story, but there are so many pieces to the AI puzzle. There's 149 zettabytes of data today or something. I mean, some crazy number. Actually, that's what's produced every year, I think. Some crazy number. Like, how do you leverage that data in your AI to get your customers happy and staying with you? And hopefully Zoom is part of that with our communication platform and CX platform. But really, it's that starting conversation around, here's where AI is going, and here's how it's going to help you help your customers.
Love it. Should we get into a demo and check it out?
Yeah, I mean, just to quickly just kind of talk through real fast, right? Just getting more done. Again, you talked about this AI companion, scheduling meetings, looking at your agenda. We'll kind of talk through all of these things as I show you the demo. And then really it's about this strengthening of the customer experience, right? Your customers expect things from you. They expect things from your company. And so how do you do that for them? Well, it's getting them to connect to the virtual agents, getting them to connect naturally and fluidly. So it's all part of that. And then driving this seamless, consistent experience across the channels. And so let's show you that demo, what it looks like real quickly. So, just thinking about what it is that a day in the life would look like for a user, right? So I'm a contact center user. I get up in the morning. Maybe I want to check my calendar first to see what meetings I had or have coming up. I can use AI Companion to summarize meetings from yesterday, look at what topics, if I couldn't make it, were covered. I can use AI Companion to also help me understand and prepare for this upcoming meeting. Maybe I need to do something else for it. So I can also ask it to help me run tips for a smooth meeting, right? So it's all baked into what you're doing every day. I can also look at my team chat to say, all right, what's going on? Who am I chatting with today? Can I schedule this meeting now that I want to do, right? So this simply can schedule that meeting for me that it asked me to do. Look at my upcoming meetings. Maybe there was a note that was dropped in there from that meeting prior that's coming up. Maybe you say I want to prepare for an upcoming meeting, right? Maybe I want to prepare for a meeting that, I'm a Wisconsin Badger, right? So maybe I want to prepare for a meeting with you, Josh, on how many games we're going to win this year. So I can simply ask AI, hey, go out to this link from ESPN and tell me, what do you predict the Badgers are going to do this year? 8 wins?
8-4, huh?
That I think is a stretch, but hopefully it actually works that way. So, I can keep this, I can make it different, I can translate whatever I want with this, but I can simply start to look through and help to expedite what I'm doing during the course of the day. Same for the phone side, right? Look at my SMSs or anything else that I had missed, my voicemails perhaps. It can extract the tasks for me as well, right? So, hey, Ken, call back and confirm next Tuesday. All of these things are there. I don't have to listen to me rambling for 30 seconds. I can simply read that task and go. But now let's say I'm ready to log in for the day and I'm ready to start taking these calls or taking these chats and things going on. Well, let's simply just do that, right? So here I am. I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna ask, what are your hours? So now the bot's going to tell me, hey, your hours of operation are something, hopefully. Here we go. Live demos are always fun.
Oh, yeah.
So, was that helpful? Yeah, sure. But now let's say I need a refund. So now I'm going to say I need a refund. So as the agent, he can see or she can see there's some inbound things happening here. I can look and see what's going on. And then I'm going to click on yes as the customer. And now I'm going to get booted into this live engagement now with Ken. So now Ken says, okay, here you see, I can go back and read kind of what's happened, what's gone on. I get that context, so I can say, you want a refund. And then over here, we'll say, yes, I need a oops, I can't spell refund. So, okay, so now we're starting to talk through that. And now all of a sudden you see this little AI pop up in the corner. So now I could click on that AI and say, all right, now what does it want? It detects that I want a refund. Okay, great. So now maybe I know the number, I don't know the number, but let me just look to see, where that refund status is at. Okay, well now it's digging into our CRM. It's looking to see that, okay, it's been delayed. It's going to ship out in a couple of days or whatever. That's fine. Down below, I can see that to request a refund, it's giving me some suggested answers. I can just cut and paste these simply into here. That's going to go back to Ken. Okay, and then you can also see up here like it's negative versus positive reaction. Okay, great. Thank you. Now I've gone from negative to positive. Now I'm happy again, and then I'm going to say goodbye. So that's all going to happen. Now what I'll do is I'll end this thread, this conversation. So now I get these follow-up tasks and notes automatically generated for me. So now I can simply just, either I don't like these notes or I do, whatever you like. I can then save these notes into my CRM or into wherever I happen to be saving these notes. And again, all of my engagements are here. I can see again the full transcript, what happened, the preview, all that's available to me to look at and see and do. I can then also, now I'm ready to go on break again or take something else or whatever. That's fine, I'll go on break. As the supervisor, I also get access to see those real time that are happening. But now I want to grade and score some of these interactions. Well, AI is doing that for you on the back end. So where it says automated, now I'm looking at this automated one. This is a different person because the other one takes a couple minutes to score. But here I can look at Maurice and see, all right, where was this going good or bad? So positive, now it went negative, and here's why. Kind of gives you the context of it. Up here, I can also see things like I can ask it questions like, did they confirm something, right? Did they look up the order? So now it's going to actually tell me and look through to see did it answer or not answer that. So all of these things are happening in real time, and I can start to see it, understand kind of where it's going, what's happening, why it's going through. But it's scoring it for me to see at the end of the day, there's some moments that are in here. Well, actually, I have to create moments myself, sorry. But the interactions, the summaries, all this is available for me as the supervisor to then go through and grade. So now, as opposed to 1 out of, 25 calls are being scored, now it's every call can be scored if you want it to be. You can also go through and score them yourself if you want, right? Maybe John, you want to look at one of John's and score it. Well, that's fine too. Again, all that data is here. You can then listen to that call and score it yourself manually.
Well, and it feels like, too, not to gloss over this really simple thing, is that you guys have done just a great job on the interface. To me, UI equals usability, right? And not only have you made it clearly this really comprehensive product suite to where we were talking, this was meetings only 5 years ago. The amount of development and R&D that you guys have put into this platform repeatedly, and you've not lost sight of, it's not a bunch of products kind of klooshed together. It just seems to flow very fluidly, and it's very usable. It's very intuitive. So it's got to resonate really well with people that want to use it.
Yeah, look, think about it. Zoom got into prominence because of the ease of use. You could be a person in kindergarten or my grandfather at the time using Zoom in his 90s. Everyone could use Zoom for meetings. That was Eric's vision. Everyone can still continue to use Zoom how they want to use it. This ease of use and usability is massive for us. Whether you're on a desktop, a mobile, whatever, this is the way it needs to look, so everybody wants to use it. And the other nice thing is that, again, we own that full platform suite. I didn't show you things like transferring a call backwards. I could literally take that interface and release it back in or transfer it to somebody else that's not even part of the contact center, that's just sitting in an office somewhere to answer that call because they're a specialist. All of those things are important when you own the full platform. You can make it do what you need for your customer base.
Beautiful. Okay, so let's go in, and then I guess let's look at kind of future, what's coming, and then we'll get into a little bit of where you guys are winning the most.
Yeah, so this is not few. This actually was just launched a couple of weeks ago, but in-person meetings, you and I were talking a little while ago, they're really becoming popular again, right? It's no longer just sitting on Zoom. Well, now you can actually open up your mobile application and click on the record button, put it down on the table, and then record your meetings they're having in person, whether it's at lunch or in the office or whatever. We have great transcription, we have great capturing actions again, all from your mobile device and your AI companion. So no longer do you need to be sitting at your desk. You could be sitting having coffee or a Red Bull, and you're off and running and you're good to go. And we also have really great noise suppression for those great quality recordings. Other things like frontline workers. Frontline workers represent millions of people that are out there every day, but less than 2% of the budget is spent on those frontline workers. Well, Zoom is thinking about them now, right? Let's make them productive. Whether you're sitting in a retail space, you're a clinical person, you're an educator, doesn't matter. How do we help you do more with your time? So one of the first things that we launched was our clinicians. So for us, this is about being able to take those notes, whether again in person or on video. These clinical notes are really important. This types up really great clinical notes for you, so you can go in and edit and audit them, but you're not having to pay attention and write everything down or take notes. You can actually pay attention to what your client, your patient is saying to you, and hopefully help them better themselves and their lives. That's really important to us and to the customers. So part of that is, again, like that meeting preparation, post-meeting alignment, patient visit preparation, and again, those clinical note generations. But also it's about the teachers. I used to student teach when I was in grad school. Kids are frantically writing down things that you're saying. Well, that doesn't have to be the case anymore. Yeah. They can actually pay attention to what you're saying, not miss what's going on, not miss some of those things. And educators can simply distribute the lecture notes and summaries and whiteboards post the class. So if you want to go back and listen, or you didn't make it because you're in college and those things happen, that's okay. You can go back and read these and study. And so again, for us, it really becomes about how do we make those frontline workers better? Or if you're in a retail setting and you want to change shifts with somebody at the grocery store or wherever you happen to be, that happens on your mobile device now. So all those frontline workers now have a say in what goes on in that UCaaS and that customer experience, driving forward where we think we're going to end up with Zoom.
I love it. Let's talk about kind of the platform, where you're winning, the right questions. Let's put all that together, right? There's so much good stuff here.
There's a lot going on, right? Again, the Zoom platform is here. Look, this shows you where our competition is at today. There's a lot of point solutions that are out there that do a phenomenal job in their one little point. But there are, again, very few platforms like Zoom that exist today that actually encompass everything into one platform. Where we're winning, again, you could be a small mom and pop shop with 2 users that simply need just telephony, and then that may bridge into, as you said, to start other pieces. That could be that little Trojan horse that starts to breed them out. Or you could be a 25,000 seat company or a Fortune 1. And be using Zoom every day and start with meetings, then roll into other things like chat and phone and Workvivo and more as you keep growing your business. So for us, it's about that better together story. How do we fit into your story as a customer? How do we help you improve that customer experience for your customers? And how do we go out there and win more money together with the trusted advisors? And that's really where Zoom, I think, is really taking things and kind of driving forward.
Love it. Good stuff. Final thoughts? You've given them a million wedge products. Is it, if anybody's using any one of these, they should think of Zoom? Is there any closing thoughts from your side?
The closing thought for me would be, look, there's a lot on this slide. It's very busy and hectic. I would say you don't need to be a master of all of these things. Understand and know where your customers' pain points are as you're peeling back that onion, and then go in and try to find that piece. How do you help them in one or two of these areas, whether it's virtual agent and contact center, or whether it's phone, or whether it's Workvivo? Go help them understand one or two areas. The rest will come. Whether that's Zoom or not, as a TA, you need to understand how to help them find how to better their services and make more money for themselves. That's really where I think everyone needs to be.
I love it. All right, Ken, I think that's a wrap. Appreciate you coming in today.
Thank you so much, as always.
Awesome stuff. Ken Westermann, North American leader, engineering wizard, center of excellence. Check it out. If you haven't looked at this platform, lots of good stuff in here. Go back, rewatch this, and find a way that you can help your customers and your prospects with Zoom today. Until next time, thanks everybody.
Thank you.